Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of My Child, My Voice Kid Konnection Show. My name is Miss Wendy, and I'm so happy to see everyone today. I am so excited because today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And some of us may not understand what that is. So I picked the book of the day, the Martin Luther King Day by Linda Lowry, is going to be for story time. And our craft, which you see me holding here, is our MLK Come Together craft. And you see the hands coming together that forms a little heart in the middle. And we'll talk a little bit about this here. And I just wanted to let everyone know that this show is brought to you by the National Parents Union. Again, I am so excited to talk about our story time. I know when I was a kid, I didn't understand a lot of these holidays that we would have. All I knew is that I was off from school. So we're going to learn about Martin Luther King Jr. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hide myself so that we can start story time right here. I'm going to put my little craft down for a second, and I'm going to hide so that we can start story time. Okay, so our story of the day, or story time, or book for the day, is Martin Luther King Jr. by Linda Lowry, which is illustrated by Hetty Mitchell. That means the pictures that are in here. And I love the little quote that it says in here: to children everywhere, may they have the freedom to dream and the courage to live their dreams. And then here's an author's note that reads, Martin Luther King Jr. loved to learn big words. When he was a boy, as he grew older, he was able to use these words to explain the ideas he believed in. Here are some important words that Dr. King used. Laws are made to protect our civil rights. Those are the rights of all people to enjoy life, freedom, and equal treatment. When a law takes away someone's civil rights and does not protect everyone equally, it is unjust law. When people try to change any unjust condition, they have a choice of taking peaceful actions or using violence. Violence causes hurt to others and damages to property. Dr. King showed people that peaceful action solves problems better than violence does. Talking honestly about problems, marching to make others aware of unjust conditions, and voting for leaders who want to change unjust laws are all peaceful ways to work for change. We can create change in our own lives by understanding the meaning of these words. Like Dr. King, we can treat others in a just manner and make our homes and our world better by using peaceful actions to solve our problems. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day and every day, we make a difference. I love that note from there. Now let's start our story time. It was Monday, January 20th, 1986. Church bells rang across America. There were parades in Chicago and marches in New York City. 400 people rode a freedom train across the state of Washington. Why is everybody celebrating? Leaders from all over the world met in Atlanta, Georgia. They talked about peace and justice. In Arizona, children let hundreds of balloons fly up to fill the sky with colors. People were celebrating from Alaska to Florida, from Hawaii to Washington, D.C. Why? It was the first time Americans had celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday as a national holiday. More than 27 countries across the world celebrated too. People talked about how Dr. King had made the world a better place. Who was Martin Luther King Jr.? And how did he make the world better? Martin Luther King Jr. was born on January 15th, 1929. When he was little, his family called him ML. He lived with his parents, his sister, and his brother in a big house in Auburn Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. ML felt safe and happy in his home. 3 blocks away was another place ML loved to be. It was Ebenezer Baptist Church. His father was the minister there. His mother led the choir. ML's parents had some firm rules for their family. No matter what the children were doing, they always had to come home for supper. Supper time was important. It was a time for the whole family to share their ideas and their feelings. It was at the dinner table that ML's father and mother taught him one of the most important lessons of life. They taught him to treat all people with respect. Not everyone in Atlanta knew how to treat others with respect. As ML grew older, he saw that white people and black people were treated differently. ML and his white friends could not drink from the same water fountains. They could not even use the same public restrooms. And you could see the difference there. ML's best friend was white. From the time they could walk, the two friends had played together on Auburn Avenue. Then came their first day of school. ML was sent to a school for black children. His friend was sent to a school with other white children. After school, ML ran to see his friend. When he knocked on the door, his friend's mother said that their son was too busy to come out and play. She said he was busy the next day too, and the next. ML and his friends were never allowed to play together again. ML finally asked his mother why he could not play with his best friend. ML's mother took him onto her lap. It was because ML was black and his friend was white, she explained. His friend's parents didn't want their son to play with a black child. ML did not understand. He knew that the color of his skin should not make any difference to his friend's parents. ML's mother held him tight. "You are as good as anyone," she told him. It just does not seem fair to ML. When he grew up, he thought he would try to change things. ML worked very hard in school. He had always loved learning the big words his father used when he preached. Now was his chance to learn how to use those big words. He hoped that someday he could use powerful words to tell people about respecting each other. Martin studied so hard that he started college when he was only 15. Martin never stopped thinking about how he can make the world a better place. He thought about being a doctor and helping people when they were sick. He thought about being a lawyer so that he could help people who were in trouble with the law. Finally, Martin made up his mind. He decided to become a preacher like his father and his grandfather. He went to a school for ministers. It was there that Martin learned about Muhammad Gandhi. Gandhi was a man who showed the people of India peaceful ways to change the unjust laws of their government. Gandhi did not use violence. Martin read everything he could find about Gandhi. He began to think about ways he could use his own preaching to teach others some of Gandhi's ideas. Martin went to yet another school. This time it was in Boston. By studying even more about being a minister, he learned the title of a doctor. Now he was called Dr. King. While he was living in Boston, he met a woman named Coretta Scott. They were married on June 18th, 1953. Less than a year later, people from church in Montgomery, Alabama asked Dr. King to be their minister. In Montgomery, Black people had been angry for many years about unjust laws and unequal treatment. Dr. King hoped that he would solve those problems by preaching about respect and justice. He and Miss King decided to move to Montgomery. Soon after they arrived, Dr. King became more involved in the problems that he had ever imagined he would. In Montgomery, Black people had to sit at the back of the bus. When white people got on a full bus, Black people had to give them their seat. It was a law. On December 1st, 1955, a woman named Rosa Parks got on a bus after a hard day at work. She was very tired and she was happy to sit down. You can hear my dog in the background. He's excited about this story too. The bus driver told Mrs. Park to give her seat to a white man. Miss Park said no. She had paid her money to ride the bus. She wanted to be treated the same as a white man. The driver called the police. They arrested Miss Parks. Many people in Montgomery felt that Miss Parks had not been treated right. They wanted to change the unjust law. They asked Dr. King to help them. Dr. King and other Black leaders worked out a plan. They asked Black people to stay off the buses so that the bus company would lose money. Black people walked or took taxis or rode together in cars to get to work. Black people would not ride the buses until the unjust law was changed. It took a year and a lot of work from many people, but finally Dr. King's plan was successful. The law was changed. Black people could sit in any seat on the bus. There were even laws in some southern states that kept white people and Black people separate. Dr. King wanted to change those laws too. He wanted to change the laws without using violence. He believed that Americans could make important changes peacefully. He went to many cities to talk to crowds of people. He said that all people have the right to equal treatment under the law. Those rights are called civil rights. Many people believed in civil rights. They were willing to work hard to make sure that everyone had those rights. Dr. King gave speeches to crowds. He told the people how to use peaceful ways to change laws that were not just. One hot August day in 1963, people marched in Washington, D.C. There were people of all colors. They were old and young, rich and poor. It was the biggest civil rights march ever held. Dr. King stood before the crowd. "I have a dream today," he said. "I have a dream that one day little Black boys and Black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and walk together as sisters and brothers." Many Americans also had this dream. They wanted to help make it come true. There were some people, though, who did not agree with Dr. King's words. They tried to stop him from doing his work by putting him in jail. Then he could not talk to crowds. One winter, someone threw a bomb at the King's house. Mrs. King ran out with her baby girl. The explosion just missed them. At times like this, Dr. King became sad and discouraged. He worried about the family he loved. Sometimes it seems as if nobody was listening to his words. He wondered if he should just stop. Again and again, he decided to keep on working for his dreams of equality and justice. In December of 1964, he was given the Nobel Peace Prize. It meant that he had peaceful work and had been noticed by the world. Part of the prize was $54,000. He gave the money to groups of people who were working for civil rights. Martin Luther King Jr. continued to work to solve the problems of Black people. Dr. King also worked to help poor people gain their rights. He tried to help all Americans who were being treated unjustly. In April of 1968, he went to Tennessee to help a group of garbage workers. While standing on the balcony outside his motel room, Dr. King was shot. People all over the world were shocked, angry, and sad. Though Dr. King is now gone, he left us with his dreams. Dr. King work was so important that many people wanted to honor him. They wanted to celebrate his birthday as a national holiday. The United States, as a nation, has honored him only one other person in this way, George Washington. 15 years after Dr. King's death in 1983, Congress voted to create a holiday in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. The first celebration would be in 1986. President Ronald Reagan signed the bill. The holiday became official. Dr. King's birthday is January 15th. So on the third Monday of every January, we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we take time to remember what Dr. King did to make our world a better place. Even more, we try to think of ways that we can live Dr. King's dreams each day. He dreamt of love, peace, and justice. He dreamt that we could all work together, no matter what color our skin is. He worked hard for his dreams. Now it is your turn. And that ends our story time of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And what I love about this book is on the back of the book, you get to learn the important dates about Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous speech, I Have a Dream speech in Washington, D.C., 1963. He won his Nobel Prize in 1964. And then here at the back, it says celebrating Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There are lots of ways to remember and honor Dr. King and Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Schools and many businesses close for the day in his memory. People take part in parades, marches, and rallies. Churches and other places of worship host special events. Public spaces such as schools, libraries, and museums host tribute to Martin Luther King Jr. At these tributes, children and adults might sing songs, put on plays, or even give speeches. In many cities, people of all ages find ways to volunteer in their community. What will you do the next time you celebrate Martin Luther King Day? Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And if you want to learn more about this, they also listed the website about him, the King Center, and also Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. So this is what I love about the book. It gives you a lot to think about and why we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and as well as about who he is. And what I love the most is here is his note from his wife, Miss Coretta Scott King. Thoughts on Martin Luther King Jr. I would advise young Americans to read, study as much as they can, and be concerned enough to think about Dr. King as a man and a leader. As they read and hear, they should try to find in themselves their own places as citizens in the world. That one was written by Mrs. Rosa Parks, who was a civil rights worker. The other one is, one needs to try to follow his teachings. If one follows his teachings, then one surely can live the dream. And there you have it. That is the end of our story time. And I hope you enjoyed our story time. I know I did. I'm going to come back on and I'm going to stop sharing. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I really love reading this book because it tells you why we celebrate his day today. Some may say MLK Day. Some will say Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So now, as you read on the back of that book, it's how can we spread, that dream? How, we do that. So I love our craft of the day, which I got back upside down, is here. It's our MLK Come Together craft. And it's very simple and easy. And how can we spread that dream? His dream as well as your dream. So let's get started. I'm going to move my camera and then I'm going to also tell you what supplies you need to do this very easy and simple craft. So I'm moving my camera down. Okay. I'm going to put this right here so that you can see this craft. What you're going to need is either glue or a glue stick, whatever you have at home. I'm going to put this on the side. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need a pencil and possibly a marker. Or crayons, if you have that too. You don't have to have a marker. And then you're going to need a construction paper. Now, you could use whatever construction paper you have. And then also, I would suggest either a blank sheet of paper you have, whether it's computer paper, notebook paper, whatever you have that it's there, go ahead and use that. And this is going to be a fun and easy, simple craft that we're doing today. Now, the first thing you want to do with the construction paper, you want to have several different construction papers. Now, I'm going to show you. Now, my hands are a little bit big. So what I did is I traced my granddaughter's hands. And this is where your pencil comes in with your hands. Whatever color construction paper you want that represents you, or whatever color you would like to use to show your hands. I like this because I know that my hands are lighter and then my mother's hands are darker and my grandfather's hands were darker. So I did 2 different colors to represent them. For you, all you need to do is trace your hand on the construction paper, and you want to do 2 different colors, I would suggest. Now, the reason why I'm not showing you because my hands are pretty big. And you want to do 2 sets. And when you trace your hand, make sure you open your hand a little bit wide. And then just use your pencil and trace your hand on the construction paper. Okay? And you want to do the same thing twice because you want to have 2 handprints. Okay? And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and you're going to get the construction paper and then cut the handprint out so it could look like this one. Okay? Again, the reason, remember, scissors are tools, not toys. So make sure if you need any help, you get a parent or someone in your house to help you cut this if you need help. So, as I mentioned, you want to cut out each hand print and you want to have 2 sets, like 1 and 1. Okay? So I'm going to put this to the side. And now, another thing is, if you don't have color construction paper at home, another suggestion I would say, if you have paint, whether you have brown paint, white paint, blue paint, green paint, whatever color paint you have, use that paint and then get a paper plate, put the paint on the paper plate, stamp your hand on the plate, and then stamp your hand on the construction paper. Make sure you have a wipey or a paper towel to wipe off, the paint off your hand. Make sure you have adult permission and supervision, like help, to help you do this craft if you are going to use paint. So make sure you ask for help. And so the next thing you want to do now, if you're doing the cutout like me, once you cut out your handprints, you want to get the construction paper. I use blue because this is what I love. It's my favorite color is light blue or blue. You want to fold your construction paper in half. Now, if you don't have construction paper at home, you could use notebook paper and just color it. So whatever you have is very easy. Now, I just folded in half. I just made sure that my ends met, and I fold my construction paper in half, where it can open like this. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to get your handprints, and then I'm going to use a glue stick because I find it easier rather than the glue, but whatever you have at home, you can use the glue as well. Now, who you're hearing in the background is my foster dog that we took in. He loves to be involved in anything that I'm doing, so he's already outside my window trying to get my attention, so that's why you hear him. Now I'm going to turn this over my way so that I know what I'm doing here. To make like this shape like heart out of the hands, you want to put them 2 together like this. See how that goes? To give you an idea, this is how we're going to do it. Here's the one that I did, and here's the one we're doing. And the way to do that, and make sure that the part that opens this side Make sure you're gluing this the right way because you want this to show here so it can flip up. Okay. So I'm going to get my glue stick and I'm just going to, whatever side that has the drawings, or like say you got, like I actually, you can see my pencil marks. I'm using that side to put the glue on. Oh, before you do that, don't do it on your construction paper. Sometimes you get glue on there. Always have something underneath whenever you're cutting or painting or doing any glue so that if it falls, it gets on there. You can put paper towel, a vinyl tablecloth, or something underneath. So I'm just putting my glue stick and I'm putting the glue so that it will glue to the table or to the construction paper. And you can see the purple. I use this one so you can kind of see how I'm putting my color of the glue. I'm going to put this aside. And I want to do one handprint first. I'm making sure I'm doing the right side. This is facing me, the flap that opens, and the flap that doesn't is away from you. I'm going to glue my handprint here. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, before I start this one, remember, you want to make the hands in between to look like a little heart inside. Okay, I'm going to move this to the side, and I'm going to put glue on my other cutout handprint. Now you can, I love using this glue stick so you can kind of see how I'm putting the glue on the handprint. I love the foster dog that we have. His name is Anakin, and he loves to get our attention anytime he sees us in the window. So anytime I do any shows, you'll hear him in the background. He loves to talk, as you can hear. It's like he knows I'm on like the Kid Konnection show. Okay, oops, I think I missed a spot here. I need to get it. Make sure you cover the glue in all your spots so that it glues really, really good. Okay. And then I'm going to, now when you place this one, make sure before you put it on there, see how it's doing the shape of the heart? That's how I want to do it. And there we go. I'm gluing it to the construction paper. And here we are. We've come together to do this, and it made a heart in the center. Okay, so the next step, once you open the construction paper, you have this blank slate here. Now, I'm going to show you a piece of paper that I typed up so you can read the handwriting, because I know sometimes you can't read here. And what I called it was the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Had a Dream. Your blank paper, this is what you're going to put on there, okay? Before you even start, I forgot to mention, fold this in half like this. Make sure your ends meet. I almost forgot that one important step. Okay, then we want to cut it right where the crease is. There we go. Moving that. And then this is what you're going to do is you're going to glue this one blank side and glue it to your construction paper. So on one side, you're going to glue, put the glue on there. You can see how I do it here. I always do it like a rectangle, so I made sure that all my sides are covered. Actually, I have fun when I do this. I do lines, 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 and making sure my glue is there. Okay. Make sure you got your glue and you put it on the flap side that's not where your fingerprints are. What does that mean? So when you open it, this should be away from you. See, when you open it, here's your handprints, and then you open this here. Okay. Now you're going to have a blank piece of paper. On mine, it doesn't show a blank piece of paper. here you're going to write Martin Luther King's Jr. Day had a dream. Okay. And in here, you will put Dr. King's dreamed that and finish the sentence. What did we learn today in our book? This is a great way to share the information so that we can pass that information, educate other people about Martin Luther King Jr. So what I put on here is Dr. King dreamt that, and then I can keep his dream alive by, and then you finish that sentence. So you're going to put what he dreamt, peace, love, and justice. Think about the book that we read. And if you need to go back and read the book, you can. You can actually watch this video and rewatch it again, so if you don't know. Learning about Martin Luther King Jr. Day taught me. So what did you learn today about Martin Luther King? Did you learn that he had a dream? Did you learn what did he do to make changes in our world? So put what you learned by reading this book today. Then you close it. I'm going to move this back up. Hi, everybody. And that way you can share about information about Martin Luther King Jr. Day. This is a great way to pass that information to your family, your friends, your class, and you see that we all come together to help make changes in a loving and peaceful way. So I hope you enjoyed our craft of the day, which is our MLK Come Together craft, as well as the book of the day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day by Linda Lowry. Everybody, thank you for joining My Child, My Voice Kid Connection show. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day and do some creative and talk about what we've learned today. And as I mentioned, you can watch this recording again to learn more about that book because it gave some really important information, like his birthday was January 15th back in 1929. So that's the reason why it changes every year, but it's always in January, so you know about that. And you can learn a lot about Martin Luther King Jr. and then what all he did and when he was a little kid. So I hope you enjoyed it. Watch us for the next segment of My Child, My Voice Kid Connection show, powered by the National Parents Union. Next week, we'll have another story time brought to you at your home with another craft. And if you have any questions and you want some more information about the craft or the book, please reach out to Wendy at mpunion.org, and I'm happy to pass that information to you. Guys, have a great day. Have a beautiful, loving, wonderful day with your family, your friends, or whoever you may be spending the day with. Have a great day, everyone. See you. Bye.